I'm just going to apologize to those who are signing on to this recording. We're starting the recording, and we have spoken about most of the second Aliyah, where the spies give their report. I apologize. Yes, Julia Hirsch.
So then, when these spies and the people who go along with the feeling that they don't want to go there, the people are too big, they'll be overwhelmed. This also, I think, feeds into they're saying, I wish we could go back to Egypt, because it's sort of a nostalgia. And inside this story is the story of being in a new place, being displaced. You mentioned, Rabbi, or somebody in the group mentioned, they've been slaves, and they have been suppressed, and that doesn't make you feel bold and self-reliant. And I think what I find impressive about, for me, what is poignant about, how great Egypt was. I think that Allah also commented on that, the person who isn't here, that suddenly they have forgotten how terrible it was. What made it great? Well, nothing made it great except that they were familiar with it. And that's a terribly sort of humanly dangerous place to be. And but a very human thing to be, when you forget how bad things were. I'm going to make a problematic comparison, but I think this often happens to uh, people who got divorced and aren't so happy after the divorce. They begin to romanticize that, oh, the spouse that they shed wasn't so bad after all, which is, I haven't done that, but I have met that. And it's a very understandable place to.
Yes, I think the expression is better the devil you know than the one you don't know. Right. So, um, so what Julia is bringing us into the next part, right, where the people catch the feeling from the 10 spies and kind of, basically freak out and say, which is amazing, it was better in Egypt, and let's go back. Like it's not just a little fantasy. It's like we're leaving now. It really reminds me of a kid, who when they don't like something, they're like, okay, packing my bag, and I'm going. I'm leaving now. Uh, Arlene, did you want to say something?
Yeah, well, just reading the text here, the whole community broke into loud cries, and people wept that night because they're scared to death to see what's in front of them, the devil they don't know.
Hmm.
And yeah, there there was one piece of this that also jumped out at me, and it's another one of these crazy word things that I get hung up on, which is, and I can't find it now, but it said something like people are prey, Prey. I were heard, but I can't find it. And then I'm thinking, but there also people are praying, Pray, to try to figure out, and Hashem is angry with them because they're not falling in line as Hashem would have wanted. So there's anger on Hashem's part all through this.
Yes.
A
On
lot
Sam's
of
part.
anger.
Well, let's look, because
Oh,
it's
here
beautiful.
here it is. I see it.
Right. So it's part of what Caleb and Joshua are saying
Yeah, it's
to reassure the people.
if
They are prey.
right.
Like, don't be afraid. We are stronger than them. They
Yeah,
are prey. Right. This is fairly grandiose kind of language. They're nothing. Just as you think you are nothing, they're nothing.
But
Um,
why would, I mean, what Julia was saying is these are people who were slaves, and now they're being told that they can overrun other people as if they were prey, and they don't have that sense of
okay.
security.
So this is um, a great time to put us back into context because they're not just slaves. They witnessed 10 plagues,
Mm-hmm.
which smote the Egyptians and not them.
Mm-hmm.
And they witnessed the sea splitting before them and drowning the Egyptians. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like they haven't had an experience, any other experience. They've
Other
had fairly dramatic examples
of
of,
Hashem's power.
of Hashem's power to overturn nature.
Okay.
They have witnessed miracles and signs and portents.
And they're still scared.
Well, they're scared right now.
PTSD.
Look, I mean, yeah, right? They're scared right now. This is how it is, right? You get scared, you forget everything that happened. So I want to look, I want to pick up at chapter 14, verse 5, because this was a question. I'll put it up on the screen if you'd like. Here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Here we are. And let's have a reader. Let's have a reader.
I can read it. I mean, I've got it on my phone here. Then Moses, is that it? Then
Yeah,
Moses,
do you guys
I got
see
it.
this on the
Then
screen?
Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembled congregation of his Israelites. And Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jehu, how do you pronounce that?
Jephunneh.
Jephunneh, of, of those who had scouted the land, rent their clothes and exhorted the whole Israelite community. The land that we traversed and scouted is an exceedingly good land.
All right, let's just stop here. So, because Allah had a question about this,
Right.
first thing they do is fall on their faces. That's Moses and Aaron fall on their faces when they're really afraid of God's reaction. That is like, oh shit.
Mhm.
And they fall down because that is the lowest you can be, is to be falling on your face in front of something that's really big and humongous and scary, right? So they do it an awful lot, right? Because the people are always doing this, unwise, unskilled kind of actions, right? So that's the first thing that happened. And then Joshua and Caleb tear their clothes.
So were they two of the spies?
They were the two of the spies who gave a good report.
Okay.
They were not of the 10 who were gave the other report. They
Okay.
tear their clothes. That is an act of mourning,
Right.
right? Moses, Aaron, Joshua, and Caleb know that this is not good in God's eyes. Okay?
Mhm.
So then they go on and so then they try to exhort the people, right? If you want to read on, continue with verse 8.
Oh, if pleased with us, Hashem will bring us into that land, a land that flows with milk and honey, and give it to us. Only you must not rebel against Hashem. Have no fear then of the people of the country, for they are our prey. Their protection has departed from them, but is with us. Have no fear of them.
So, Julia, since you like this kind of language, It says, Ki lachmenu hem, right here. Ki lachmenu hem. It does not say, for they are our prey. It says, they are our bread. We will eat them.
So the grasshoppers who eat them in a devastating way become the people who eat the. It's sort of reversing the image of who is eaten and who eats.
Exactly. And don't forget that it was not Caleb and Joshua that used the language of grasshopper. It was the other 10. Right? So it's this back and forth of telling the story from different viewpoints, right?
Yes.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay. And so then, Arlene, go ahead. This just cracks me up. Go ahead.
Oh, where are we?
10, verse 10.
10. As the whole community threatened to pelt them with stones, the presence of Hashem appeared in the tent of meeting to all the Israelites.
Okay, so people are so afraid they are going to kill the messengers that they don't like. Incredible. I mean, I don't know. It makes me laugh. I don't know why. Okay, so then we got Hashem being really mad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so well, let's read this. I've got until 8:30. Do you all, or do you need to stop?
I need to, I need to, I need to go.
Okay.
I'll
This-
catch the rest of it on the recording.
Great.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Jocelyn.
Bye.
Great to be together. Okay. So let's
You want me to read 11?
yeah, why don't you continue to everything that Hashem says.
So, and Hashem says to Moses, how long will this people spurn me? And how long will they have no faith in me, despite all the signs that I've performed in their midst? I will strike. Should I go on?
Mhm.
I will strike them with pestilence and disown them, and I will make of you a nation far more numerous than they.
Okay. So, right? So God says, we're going to get rid of these people.
Yeah, so wait. Hashem is saying, I will strike them with pestilence and disown them. Does he mean the Israelis that are not paying attention to him?
Yes, the Hebrews. They're not Israelis yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He says,
And
that's it.
And make
Moshe,
of you, meaning just the four of them.
he says, Moshe, I'm going to make you a better people than this. This is a terrible people.
Well, he wasn't wrong.
Like, they're terrible, and I'm getting rid of them, and I'm going to make you we're going to have a 2.0.
So should I go on?
Now, wait, Julia has.
Julia.
The whole community threatened to pelt them with stones. That was the whole community threatened to stone Caleb and Joshua.
Correct. That is my understanding. Okay, let's continue.
But Moses said to Hashem, when the Egyptians from whose midst you brought up this people in your might hear the news, they will tell it to the inhabitants of that land. Now they have heard that you, Hashem, are in the midst of this people, that you, Hashem, appear in plain sight when your cloud rests over them and when you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. I find that really threatening.
What?
That Hashem has gotten to the point where well, Hashem says, I guess I better show up so that more of them believe in me.
Actually, Hashem's been with them, showing up.
Oh, okay.
So Hashem has been traveling with them
Mm-hmm.
as a cloud over
Uh-huh.
over them at night, over them in the day, leading them by day, and
Mm.
then at night as a fire. And then Hashem's presence will rest on the tent of meeting when it's time for Moshe and Aaron to go in and talk to Hashem. So, um, so Hashem has been present,
Okay.
right, with this people.
But maybe a lot of them haven't noticed it.
Um, that is actually, I think, a little bit spoken about a little bit later when Hashem says, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And the people don't want Hashem to leave. So I think they're aware,
Uh-huh.
I think. Okay, so continue on verse 15.
If then you slay this people wholesale, the, the nations who have heard your fame will say, it must be because Hashem was powerless to bring the people into the land promised them on oath that God slaughtered them in the wilderness. In other words, Hashem is powerless to convince these people to do his bidding, and so people think that he is no longer powerful God.
So Moshe's saying, God, Hashem,
Mhm.
if you do this thing, everybody else, like the Egyptians, all the other countries that have heard about how you took the people out, they're going to say that you promised them and then you killed them. Right? Moshe is speaking to God and trying to convince God by saying that other people are going to talk and say that you are powerless.
Ah,
Right?
Mm.
Now,
so,
we might remember Abraham saying something similar when he was bargaining with God about the people of Sodom.
Yeah.
What are people going to say about the God of justice? What if there's a single righteous person? All right. So then let's, I want to just go to this a little bit because this is also, this
wow.
becomes important in our liturgy. Go ahead, 17. Can you see it, Arlene?
Yeah. I've got it on my phone.
Good.
Therefore, I pray. This is still Moses speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, I pray, let my Lord's forbearance be great, as you have declared, saying, Hashem, slow to anger and abounding in kindness, forgiving iniquity and transgression, yet not remitting all punishment, but visiting the iniquity of parents upon children, upon the third and fourth generations. Pardon, I pray, the iniquity of this people according to your great kindness, as you have forgiven this people ever since Egypt.
Okay. So we've got a couple of, for those who read Hebrew, it says, Yodhe Vav He, Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed, Nose Avon V'Fesha V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Hilrachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Nose Notzer chesed la'alafim, nose avon vafesha v'chata v'nake. These are most of the words that we use on Yom Kippur.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then it goes on, Salach na la'avon ha'am hazeh, kegodel hazdecha. We take this exactly on, it's in the Unatana Tokef. And then it says, Vayomer Adonai, salachti kidvarecha. Vayomer Adonai, salachti kidvarecha. Vayomer Adonai, salachti kidvarecha. And God said, I pardon you as you have asked. What are we asking for at Yom Kippur? We're asking for pardon. And so this comes, not wholesale because there's stuff added in, comes right into the Yom Kippur liturgy. As a model of God forgiving a great sin. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, right? I know. It's
So
so
it's
cool. It's so
almost
cool.
like getting the Hebrews to get used to the idea that they can do a terrible thing, but God is great in the sense that God will forgive them if they still respect God.
Well, yes.
That's the deal.
But they don't escape unscathed.
No.
They don't.
They do not. So, there are consequences. There are consequences. So let's read about the consequences. So this is God's answer after he says, I pardon as you asked. Who hasn't read today?
Janine, you haven't read.
Janine, you want to read?
Okay. Where it says, nevertheless, as I live and as Hashem's presence fills the whole world, none of those involved who have seen my presence and the signs that I have performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, and who have tried me these many times and have disobeyed me, shall see the land that I promised on oath to their fathers. None of those who spurn me shall see it.
Okay.
Oh.
So
He was pissed.
So it's not free, right? It's not a free ride.
No.
And so the entire generation that left Egypt would die in the wilderness.
Is that because they doubted the existence of
Yes,
the power of Hashem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't trust. They didn't
trust.
believe.
Right.
Julia, what a thoughtful look.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing this whole thing. Well, anyway, they kind of asked for it because they go into this kind of teenagery panic or bitter panic saying, if only we had died in the land of Egypt, the whole community shouted at them, or if only we might die in this wilderness.
Yep.
And now it is going to pass. Be careful what you ask for.
I mean, at one point, it's one of my actual favorite lines in the entire Torah. Right after right after they get through the Red Sea, right? They walk dry shod through the sea. The Egyptians are killed. Something happens. The water's no good to drink, and they turn on Moshe. And they say, weren't there enough graves in Egypt? It's like the most Jewish thing I've ever heard. What? There weren't enough graves in Egypt? You had to bring us here so that we could die in the wilderness? Sorry, makes me laugh every year, which is insane, but it does. Okay, so let's
Wow.
let's bring it home. Um, and exactly as Arlene says, and as Julia says, this teenagery fear and spiraling brings them to this. I think that's, yeah. Okay, and so the end is um, to 25. Okay, so we just have a couple more verses. So let's have a look at these last two. And Janine, why don't you bring us home with 24 and 25?
But my servant Caleb, because he was imbued with a different spirit and remained loyal to me, him will I bring into the land that he entered, and his offspring shall hold it as a possession. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites occupy the valleys. Start out then tomorrow and march into the wilderness by way of the Sea of Reeds.
Okay. And so begins a different journey. They're not going into the land. Allah had asked a question about Caleb. So he didn't do this because he believed in God, but rather because he wanted the land. And actually, all the tribes get the land. It doesn't become Caleb's possession. He's not the only one. He and Joshua, I don't want to be such a spoiler, but he and Joshua are the only two from that generation that will survive,
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
yeah.
right? That's what they get for having kept faith.
How
Yes.
how many generations, is it 3 or 4 that can't go through, that are prevented from going, or they're just second generation,
It's the generation that leaves Egypt has to die, not their children.
not their children? So
No,
really
no.
just the second
That's
generation.
right. It's just the generation that leaves. It's the first generation, right? It's the immigrant generation,
Right.
right? It's the one that leaves. They are going to die in the desert, in the wilderness. So thoughts. And for those who are learning trope and who are going to want to read a verse or two, just keep that in mind as you're reading. And like, as I said, this is not a performative thing, this be mitzvah. It is very lovely to do something when you learn about it,
Hmm.
and to work on it and to share a few words. So, however you want to do that. Any more thoughts about, because this is pretty like a very juicy part of the Parsha. This is the meat of it.
Well, I think it does apply to any kind of immigrant situation that goes on all through history, that the generation that actually has to move goes through many emotional ups and downs, and feeling that maybe they made a mistake, maybe they shouldn't have gone. but then their children get to benefit or not from the decisions of the parents. I mean, look at the Mexicans that have come into this country. You know, the parents may have done okay, but now the kids are having a hard problem. So they want to go back. So, I mean, this is not a simple one, one answer answers all.
It is not. And I really appreciate your bringing that up. And how difficult it is to leave your homeland,
Whatever.
wherever that is. Even when, I mean, usually people don't leave if it's that great,
Right.
but it's still their home,
Yeah, their culture.
you know? So yeah, beautiful. Anybody else? Last thoughts, questions, disappointments, surprises?
I guess another surprise that I didn't really know as a child growing up and running away from Judaism was how often in the Torah that God gets angry at his chosen people because either they don't have faith or they've done something terrible, but he hasn't abandoned us in all these years, in spite of the fact that we get castigated regularly because we haven't learned yet.
I think that's a beautiful piece of Torah, right? That God has kept God's end of the covenant in some ways. I mean, it's pretty amazing, right, that we're still here.
Yeah.
So great. If you made some notes, if there are things that you want to explore and you want some, um, um, ideas about where to look, let me know. Happy to point you in a direction. Google is great, and especially with Bible stuff, Torah stuff, you have to be really discerning about where it takes you. No, because it doesn't know who you are and what you're looking for, and so I can send you to reliable websites for information. Yeah, Julia.
I found it interesting. I was following in the Herz Chumash, which is what you have in the synagogue, because this is what I have here at home. But here, your carcasses shall drop in the wilderness. Carcasses. So before, I mean, it's not, they died beforehand, and so what's left is carcasses. But that's such a horrible image of human beings as carcasses dropping in the wilderness. So one interesting thing, you post the Sefaria, and I've looked it up too, the different translations and how they subtly their subtle impact on how we respond. I mean, the story is the same, but the language, I think, is a little gentler, a little more subdued in the Sefaria than in the Hertz.
What verse is that?
Oh, well, hold
You
on.
just closed it.
It's verse 32
Oh.
in here. Let me see. I'll have
No, actually, I'm going to show this to you. We didn't get there because that's in the fourth Aliyah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is 32.
Here, look.
Yeah.
Even here, but your carcasses, even in the nice, gentle JPS,
Carcasses.
because the word is figrehem, figrechem, and a pagar is a carcass. It's a corpse.
Mm.
Yeah, not fun, but that's the word.
And
Does it ever?
Julia Rose, and then Janine.
Oh, I'm just left with the question, Moshe keeps intervening. He's kind of, and there must be some people that think, well, does he really talk to Hashem? Or, does Hashem really, is he, anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, and then there's all this stuff that Hashem says. So is Moshe then telling everybody that this is what Hashem said to him? And if so, as a man telling them this, are they, how are they going to respond? Being, you made such a big mistake that you all have to stay here, and your carcasses will end up here, and your children will wander in the wilderness.
Yeah, you're going to see.
So, but how do the people hear this, or do they hear it?
They do hear it. They don't love Moshe. They get just as mad at Moshe as you might expect. He's not the most popular guy. Leaders generally are not.
Well, I'm just curious because, Hashem tends to speak to Moses in very dramatic ways, and then suddenly seems to be talking directly to the people, not in a cloud or with thunderbolts or that's just thought came to me. That's
So I will tell you in this particular situation, it says when Moses repeated these words to all the Israelites,
Oh, I didn't see that yet. Okay.
right? The people were overcome with grief.
Right.
So he repeats the words.
Right.
And just in terms of Torah, in its own context, Moshe goes to the tent of meeting. The cloud comes down. That's the presence. Everybody sees this. They know that Moshe and Aaron are in there talking to God and being spoken to by God. So whether there is a time when the people will say, "Why are you the leader?" and will rebel against Moshe.
Right.
It does not go well for them. So there's at least really, there's kind of two times really. So it's not all, it's not by any means roses and lollipops
Not smooth going.
for anybody here. Moshe, also has had it plenty of times. I think that's the most realistic part of all of this is how hard it is to be a leader with a vision and to try to bring people to a place. And how people don't want to move. They don't want to be moved. So that's the part that is, really rings so true for me in terms of, you've all said this, how human this is, right? How human all of the reactions are. And that's one of the essences of Torah is what we can learn about being human.
Mhm.
For better or for worse. All right. Thank you all. This has been amazing, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just be in touch with any thoughts or questions. And again, I apologize to those who are watching the video that I did not get the first part on recording. Please forgive me.
Thank you.